One of the best things that we can do for ourselves is create a positive environment, make our space be exactly what you want it to be. I know that I talk a lot about positivity and I talk about, change your mindset, do a lot of things. But what I really want to do is bring to the table something that's very important, and that is your environment. You are what you are around, and that is a cliche but true words of advice. Okay. I obviously have a lot to be thankful for. My environment has not always been the best. There was bumps and everything in the road, but what I can say was consistent is that my mother always created environments of us to thrive and grow. And in doing that, it allowed me to know that that's what I needed to continue in my life. And I don't allow myself to go to negative places, you know now, not everywhere is the same. Like I have friends, I go to their house. I'm not saying I don't. But what I'm saying is that I don't let people in my life that aren't positive people. I don't allow those people to come in and suck my life out of me. When I start feeling smothered and I start feeling that it's a little bit of negative energy, I move on, and I put up that boundary so far that I just don't go back. And there's a reason to it because when I did ignore that thought process of ick, it really was bad. It was bad. So I told you just a few minutes ago that my mom always created a positive place. And what I mean by that is that there wasn't abuse, there wasn't violence, there wasn't anything that we had to endure or witness at points that made it negative, right? The most negative thing that I would say that it was around me growing up in my space and my environment is that my mom worked a lot. But again, I can't say that that's really negative because I really had brothers that stepped up to the plate and they helped me, which made me think and feel that it was still a positive environment. Does that make sense? Um, Again, it's always been a positive thing to me. But today, if you talk to people, they'll say, well, I don't want to have to work 24/7 because I don't want my kids to have to stay at home and be raised by their brothers or sisters. I get it. I wouldn't want that. That's not ideal. But if it's what I had to do to put bread on the table, it becomes a positive environment. It becomes a environment that is creating positivity, right? So we really have to think about where we put ourselves. Um, we William and I do not really hang out with a lot of negative people. And I think if we ever got around that type of feeling, I got that feeling of it might be a little too much of the negativity, we would go. We would leave. Because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't do anything for us. It doesn't help us thrive. It doesn't make anything. There's nothing positive about it. So when we go in and we gonna be honest, I just had to take a call and I don't know where I was at. But anyways, the point is that we have to create our positivity around us. And that will be environment, meaning the places around you, you know. And in that environment means the people around you. It means um what's happening around you. And we already have a pretty negative or not so great societal environment, meaning, the government and the religious battles and all the things. Like there's already so much chaos that when you get the control to have what you want around you in your life, do it. Because if you can manage and maintain and put yourself in a little good positive environment, it helps when we have to start working with or thinking about the negativity that's happening in the world, you know. For example, like let's just say you're a stay-at-home mom, you have a husband that works a full-time job, but because you got three little kids at home, um there's two outcomes to that. You can either make it bad by sitting at home complaining about, "Oh, I don't have any support. I don't have this. I don't have this. I don't have this. Oh my god, I'm so tired." I You can do all the negative things. Or, oh, sorry. And with that, what you're going to see is that your kids are going to be running amok, hitting each other, like throwing food on the walls, like everything that you're feeling, they're going to start acting out, right? All the negativity is going to happen. But if you take that and say, my husband is out working to provide for us, that I can stay home and I can care for our littles that, that are happy, smiling, and thriving, they're going to be happy, cheerful kids. Not saying they won't ever act up, because by gosh, they probably will. They're children. But in an overall, their mental health is going to be a better mindset because their environment is fostering that, right? So then when they have to go to school and hear about the shit that's happening, what happens is that they can come home and they can talk to you, and you can help with that regulation of what's going on, and you can be their ear, and you can be their sounding board, and you can help them through to the next step, right? You can create an environment that's positive for them. Even in a negative light, you can give them that ability to have somebody to come home to, right? And then when your husband comes home at 10 o'clock at night, you are still having a positive thought because your family is functioning and you've got this little perfect positive Adobe, and nothing can break that, right? Right? I mean, who cares if the electric's supposed to cut off? You're going to pay it. He works too hard for that, right? Who cares if, there's food all over the floor? Because in the light of the day, what matters is that your kids are thriving, you're happy, your husband's working to provide for you, and you can get to stay home and do all that you want to do, right? We see a lot of kids come through that have been in very horrible environments, meaning that their environments living in the streets, running the streets, living in drug houses, being prostituted out. Like, there's multiple things that are very negative environments that we see kids struggling with. And it's hard because they are so scared to buy into this positive environment because all they've ever known is the negativity. So what I mean by that is, when I worked in a group home, no, it was a group home and nobody really cared for it. Nobody loves living in a group home, but they did thrive off of rules and structures and a warm bed and food and a nice shower and getting help with homework. They thrived off of all of that. But it was so hard for them to buy in that could be life, that could be really something that's happening. So before, they'll love it, they'll love it, they'll love it, they'll love it. And then they normally do something to sabotage it. So for example, they're fixing to be adopted or have a foster family or something like that. And they're fixing to be out those doors, right? Well, they've enjoyed this positivity, but they are very hesitant that that's what it's going to be on the other side of the door, because it's never been that way any other time outside of the door. So they go missing from care, or they break into a car, or whatever they do that makes it to where now they don't have that availability, because they've had a behavior that has to be looked at and adjusted, and we got to work through that, process that. So they've sabotaged the possibility of a positive environment, because the only time they've ever known positive environment is when they've been at the group home, because everything before that was negative, right? So that happens. People sabotage the positivity sometimes just because they're so used to the negativity. I think it's important to talk about this, because I want you to sit here and say, what environment am I creating for myself? What environment am I going to thrive in? What environment is going to be inclusive for me to live in, to be a positive environment? What do you need to do? What do you need to do to make that happen? Because once your environment is in a better, healthier place, normally your mindset will follow with that. So where you're waking up like, oh, I don't want to clean my house and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do nothing. That thought process is like, man, it's a great day. Let's get up and clean the yard or let's go do this. And, your mindset starts shifting because you've surrounded yourself or started to create a positive environment. And it's your environment. So make it what it is, make it what you want. Build that empire of an environment. Do it. Just do it because your life will start coming around that. It might not be immediate. Don't say that I'm saying it's going to be immediate. It's going to take time and it's going to take continued effort for you to keep continuing to create and have this positive environment. Make sense? So, really, with that, that's all I have for you on this. But I do want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or if you have anything to add to this, please put a little comment below and I'll be glad to get back with you. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye, guys.